Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. All right, let's dive deep into this because the Washington Commanders offseason is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable and dramatic storylines in the NFL. And if you're a fan, buckle up because this is going to get wild. First off, the Commanders have already shaken the foundation of their coaching staff in ways that no one really saw coming. Head coach Dan Quinn, who's in his second year leading the team, made some moves that left fans and analysts alike scratching their heads. Right after the conclusion of the 2025 season, Quinn decided to part ways with his defensive coordinator, Joe Witt Jr., a man widely regarded as one of the bright minds on the defensive side of the ball. But Quinn didn't stop there. In a move that sent shockwaves through the league, he also announced that offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury would no longer be with the team. This decision was particularly surprising considering the offensive success the team had under Kingsbury just a year prior, when they finished 5th in the league in points scored and 7th in total offensive yards. To understand why these firings are such a big deal, you have to take a closer look at the context of the last two seasons. In 2024, Jayden Daniels burst onto the scene as the Commanders' rookie quarterback, delivering a stellar season with 3,568 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions, while adding 891 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. That year, the team went 12-5, exceeding expectations and showing that Quinn's leadership and Kingsbury's offensive scheme could work in harmony. Fast forward to 2025, and the story drastically changed. Daniels battled injuries, only appearing in 7 games, and the Commanders' offense dropped to 22nd in both yards and points scored. Daniels' stats fell dramatically to 1,262 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, with 278 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Naturally, someone had to be held accountable, and in Quinn's eyes, that someone was Kingsbury. Reports suggest that Quinn had fundamental disagreements with Kingsbury regarding the balance between running and passing plays. Quinn, it seems, is looking for a more traditional offense to support Daniels' development, which is why he opted to make the drastic change. But the plot thickens, and this is where things get really intriguing. Just as the Commanders were navigating these internal changes, a bombshell dropped from Baltimore. The Ravens decided to part ways with legendary head coach John Harbaugh. This is huge. Harbaugh is a proven winner, someone with playoff experience, a Super Bowl on his resume, and a reputation for being able to turn teams around. Now the Commanders have to consider what their next steps are. Dan Quinn's job may feel secure for now, but the reality is that NFL general managers have to plan for every possibility, especially when a coach of Harbaugh's caliber becomes available. Adam Peters, the Commanders' general manager, has a responsibility to at least explore the option. Even if Quinn remains the head coach, Peters needs to do his due diligence because opportunities like this are rare and fleeting. Insiders like Adam Schefter have made it clear that when coaches like Harbaugh hit the market, multiple teams pivot immediately, even those with head coaches on the hot seat. From a strategic standpoint, the Commander situation is unique and potentially very appealing to someone like Harbaugh. They have already made sweeping changes to their coaching staff, firing both coordinators, which essentially clears the way for a fresh start. The team has a franchise quarterback in Jayden Daniels, who is still young, talented, and capable of developing into an elite player. There is new ownership in place, a respected front office, and even a new stadium under construction. Harbaugh would also have full control over his coaching staff and a front office that values collaboration with the coaching team and roster building. Peters has emphasized that coaches have a significant say in shaping the roster, which is a huge selling point for a coach of Harbaugh's experience and vision. In many ways, this could be a dream scenario for a coach looking to make an immediate impact and build a legacy in Washington. Now, it's important to understand that this does not necessarily mean Quinn is on the hot seat or that he will be replaced. However, in the NFL, no decision is ever black and white, and Peters' responsibility as a general manager is to leave no stone unturned. If the team enters the next season with even a slight doubt about Quinn's long-term viability, They risk losing valuable time and potentially wasting a year of Daniels' prime development window. Having Harbaugh step in as head coach, combined with someone like Todd Monken as offensive coordinator, could create an ideal environment for Daniels to thrive. This tandem would provide stability, innovative strategy, and a proven track record of success that could elevate the entire organization. Considering the stakes, it would be negligent for Peters not to explore this avenue thoroughly. It's also worth noting the dynamics that led to the decision to part ways with Kingsbury. As Grant Paulson of 106.7 The Fan in Washington reported, the friction between Quinn and Kingsbury revolved primarily around offensive philosophy. Quinn wanted a more balanced approach between the run and pass game to better support Daniels' growth. What worked in 2024 with a high-powered offense and a breakout rookie season simply didn't translate to 2025, where injuries and inconsistencies exposed weaknesses in the offensive system. The firing reflects a shift in priorities for Quinn, who is clearly trying to align the coaching philosophy with the developmental needs of the quarterback and the overall direction of the team. It is a bold move, but in the context of an organization trying to chart a long-term path to success, it may be a necessary one. Beyond the technical aspects of coaching, the Commanders' offseason is also about positioning in a broader NFL context. Coaching changes ripple across the league, affecting everything from draft strategies to free agency moves. With Harbaugh suddenly available, teams that had previously written off potential coaching upgrades are now reevaluating their options. If the Commanders make a serious push for him, it signals ambition and a willingness to think beyond incremental improvements. This is not just about replacing a coordinator or tweaking the roster. It's about seizing a rare opportunity to transform the franchise. If Peters navigates this carefully, the Commanders could emerge from a turbulent offseason in a stronger, more cohesive position, ready to challenge for playoff contention and ultimately chase a championship. The ripple effect of these moves cannot be overstated. Firing both coordinators sends a message to players, agents, and other coaches that the organization is serious about accountability and about reshaping its identity. For Daniels, this could mean stepping into a more structured environment with clearer guidance and expectations. For Quinn, it is a test of his adaptability and leadership under pressure. And for Peters, it is the ultimate GM challenge, balancing loyalty with pragmatism, short-term considerations with long-term vision, and making decisions that could define the trajectory of the Commanders for years to come. In summary, the Washington Commanders' offseason is a masterclass in unpredictability. The combination of Quinn's bold staffing decisions, the opportunity presented by John Harbaugh's availability, and the presence of a young, talented quarterback in Jayden Daniels creates a situation that is equal parts exciting and nerve-wracking. The next steps taken by the front office will not only determine the outcome of the upcoming season, but potentially set the stage for a new era in Washington. This is the kind of off-season drama that makes NFL fans sit on the edge of their seats, because the story is far from over, and every decision carries weight, consequence, and the potential for transformative change. For Commanders fans, it is a time of hope, uncertainty, and intense scrutiny, and the coming weeks will likely provide some of the most compelling headlines of the entire NFL calendar. The league is watching, the fans are watching, and the players are watching, because one move could change everything, and in Washington, nothing is ever as straightforward as it seems. The 2025 season may have ended on a disappointing note for the Commanders, but the offseason is already proving to be a whirlwind of strategy, evaluation, and opportunity. Quinn's decisions, Peters' due diligence, and the potential addition of a coach like Harbaugh are all pieces of a puzzle that could reshape the future of the franchise. The stakes could not be higher, the scrutiny could not be more intense, and the window for decisive action is narrow. Yet in this chaos lies the possibility for greatness. And for a team that has seen its share of ups and downs, this might just be the moment to seize control of its destiny, redefine its identity, and set the stage for years of success to come. The NFL offseason is never dull, but for the Commanders, it has already become a story for the ages. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. What is going on in Washington right now feels like one of those moments where the walls start whispering before the doors actually open. And if you listen closely, you can hear the echo of a major move already shaking the building. The word circulating around the league, the kind of word that never shows up on official statements at first, is that a trade involving Darren Payne is not just being discussed, but quietly treated as something that is already done behind the scenes. This is being talked about in hushed tones, with that classic vibe of a front office that decided to pull the trigger and now is just waiting for the right moment to let the world catch up. The feeling around the Commanders is not panic, not chaos, but calculation, like a chessboard where a big piece is being moved to unlock the next phase of a plan that only a few people fully understand. From the perspective of Washington, this rumor makes a strange kind of sense if you connect the dots the way insiders love to do. Darren Payne has been a cornerstone, a force in the middle, a name that represents toughness and consistency, but he's also a name that carries weight on the salary sheet and in trade conversations. The buzz is that the Commanders saw an opportunity to convert that value into flexibility, into future assets, into breathing room. The phrase being repeated is that they gain a pick and suddenly open the vault, not because they are reckless, but because they believe this move frees them to be aggressive elsewhere. It is the kind of gamble that franchises take when they believe they are closer to reshaping their identity than protecting the comfort of what already exists. What makes this rumor explode even more is the idea that the return is not just symbolic. People close to the situation suggest that Washington comes out of this with a meaningful draft pick, the type of pick that keeps options open and sparks imagination. Not just a throw-in, not a late afterthought, but something that can be sold to the fan base as a real building block. And when you hear the phrase, "open the coffers," being whispered around, it is not about splurging without direction. It is about having the freedom to chase upgrades, to extend the right players, to maybe even be opportunistic when another team gets desperate. This is the kind of move that changes the rhythm of an off-season, even if nobody is allowed to say it out loud yet. The speculation goes deeper when you start hearing how this decision was framed internally. The idea floating around is that Washington evaluated its timeline and decided that reallocating resources was smarter than clinging to a single expensive anchor, no matter how talented. Payne's value on the open market, especially for teams craving interior disruption, is seen as high, and the Commanders allegedly decided this was the peak moment to cash in. It is not about dissatisfaction with the player, at least that is what people insist, but about leverage and timing. In the NFL, timing is everything, and missing the right window can set you back years. Fans, of course, are split, and that split energy is part of what fuels rumors like this. On one side, there is the emotional attachment, the belief that you do not let go of homegrown powerhouses. On the other, there is a growing acceptance that smart teams sometimes make uncomfortable decisions. The chatter online and in local circles sounds like a debate playing out in real time, with some people already bracing for the announcement and others refusing to believe it until they see a jersey swap photo. That tension is exactly what you feel when a franchise is at a crossroads, and Washington has been living at that intersection for a while now. What really turns this into a full-blown bomb is the suggestion that this trade is just the first domino. When insiders hint that the front office feels newly empowered, it implies that more movement could be coming. Opening financial space is not an end, it is a means, and that is what has people speculating wildly about what comes next. Could this lead to a surprise signing, a bold extension, or another trade that nobody sees coming? The Commanders, according to this rumor mill, want to control the narrative by acting decisively rather than reacting, and moving Payne is framed as a declaration of intent rather than a retreat. There is also a layer of league-wide intrigue here, because whenever a player of this caliber becomes available, even in rumor form, it sends executives scrambling. Other teams start reevaluating their own plans, wondering if they should have made a call earlier or if they can still get involved. The idea that this deal is already closed, even if unofficial, adds urgency and a bit of envy. It is the classic scenario where everyone wishes they were in the room when the conversation happened, because those are the moments that define seasons before a single snap is played. From a storytelling perspective, this feels like one of those chapters that people will look back on and say this is where things shifted. Whether it ultimately works out or not is a question for the future, but the intention behind it is loud, even if the announcement is quiet. Washington is being painted as a team willing to bet on itself, to reshuffle its resources and chase a vision that goes beyond maintaining the status quo. That kind of confidence, real or perceived, changes how a franchise is viewed around the league, and it changes how players think about their future there. So for now, all we have is the smoke, the whispers, the carefully chosen words from people who claim to know. No confirmation, no press conference, just a growing sense that something big has already happened behind closed doors. The rumor of DARON PAYNE being traded, the Commanders securing a valuable pick and unlocking their financial flexibility, hangs in the air like a storm cloud that everyone can see but nobody can touch yet. And if history has taught us anything, it is that when the noise reaches this level, the silence that follows usually means the move is already done. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.